Assalamu alaikum. I actually got a question that I thought that I would just come back on and answer. So, how can you avoid binge eating? If binge eating meaning like, at night you just have to have a half gallon of ice cream, right? So there's a couple of tips that I'm going to give you to try to reduce and manage your binge eating. Number one, the first thing that I would do is tell you to start keeping a journal. Oftentimes we eat as a response to an emotion, right? So just saying don't eat at night is not the solution to the problem. It's kind of like a bandage, right? So if you start keeping a journal, both of things that are happening in your day and how you're feeling and of what you're eating, then you'll start seeing a connection. Are you binging on days when you have a project due at work or school? Are you binging on days that you just tend to be sad or depressed? Are you finding yourself being more depressed than you normally are? So that is one way. That is the first way that I would tell people of how to get a hold of your binge eating, is to understand what is the source that's making you want to binge. Is it an emotion? Is it being tired? Is it not getting enough sleep? Like, do that for about a week and see if you can go back and then read it and see if you can make a connection, right? So sometimes people will see connections that they never thought of before. So for example, say every day that I skip breakfast, I notice that I'm always binging at night, right? So that's actually one of the things that research shows that happens when people don't eat breakfast. They are more likely to binge at night. So that's the first thing. Keep a journal, both of your emotions, your feelings, as well as what you're eating, and see if you can make a connection between the two. And then we can problem solve from there, right? So there's various connections. So what I generally have my clients do is I have them to be able to identify where is this source of craving coming from. Is it coming from an emotional place? And then we can talk about things that we can do. So for example, so I'll give you an example of one client. She found that she was constantly binging, but we discovered that her binges came from the days that her husband worked overtime and she had the kids. They had no breaks with the kids, and then when the kids finally went to bed, she was so frustrated at the end of her day that is what she turned to, TV and her favorite foods, right? So that was her thing after her kids went to bed. And so we talked about her being able to take breaks. We talked about doing mindfulness, and not just with herself but also with her kids, so that they all can come to a relax and reduce stress at the end of the day. We talked about techniques that was applied during dinner time and bath time that would help it to be less stressful for her. And what we did was we brainstormed solutions to the stress that actually was the cause of the binge eating. So that's one thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do is be sure to make sure that you're eating enough protein. So protein keeps you full longer, right? So if you are having pasta with just sauce and no protein in it, no meat, no tofu, no anything in it for dinner, then you're more likely to be hungry later on, right? So even if you're having this, say, vegetarian pasta with a salad on the side, you're more likely to be hungry later because there is no protein. So the second thing that I would have you do is to make sure you increase the amount of protein throughout your day. The third thing is to be sure that you are eating a breakfast with protein in it. So not just cereal and milk, not just a couple of pieces of pancakes, not Dunkin' Donuts muffin with a coffee, right? That is all minimum amounts of protein. Actually having a very specific serving, looking for to create protein in your breakfast. Because the research show that people who have protein rich breakfast, they actually eat less. They eat less in the evening time, and they're less likely to binge. The third thing that I would suggest is create a habit that signals your body to stop eating. So one of the things that it just helped me years ago was, after I am done eating dinner and I've had my tea or whatever I'm gonna have immediately after dinner, I set a specific time that I'm gonna go brush my teeth. And in my mind, I created the sensation of brushing my teeth as an end of eating. I don't want to have to brush my teeth again before I go to bed. So once I brush my teeth, that's it. I can't eat anything else. I can drink water, but I don't eat anything else. So create some type of habit that is going to give you a signal, and tell yourself this constantly. It might be a shower. Once I take a shower at night, I'm done with eating. I can't eat anything else, right? So that's important. That's important too, to give yourself kind of like create a habit that is going to stop you from binging. So those are all of the suggestions that I would give you for now, to try to solve the binge eating that can be very self-saboteur. You can be a self-saboteur with that, particularly if you're trying to lose weight, because when you eat particularly carb things at night, it is going to be stored on your body, and it's going to be stored as saved energy, aka body fat. So make sure that you go back and see if you can apply those things. But remember, number one, start keeping track. Okay? And I will speak to you later, and I will try to answer some of the questions that I did not get a chance to answer. Can't answer everything on one video. If you are interested in previous questions, I might have answered it prior, go to the wall, click on the videos, and scroll down to see some of the questions that we approached earlier. All right? Assalamu alaikum.